What's up, YouTube? Welcome back for another YouTube video. Today we got the NFL Week 15 recap video. We're going to go over all the games from Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, some of the scheduled things for this week. I'm going to get out the NFL Pick'ems video for Week 16. Season's almost ending. We only got 3 more weeks of NFL. How crazy is that? We also going to get out some more bowl game predictions video out there. And then we'll go over our results as well. And something else you can keep an eye out for is I'll probably make a video out talking about the playoff situations because the playoff race this year is pretty crazy. So why not? You know, that's something worth discussing. It's starting to heat up. So yeah, with all that said, let's get started with the recap. All right, first game from the Saturday slate, we got the Vikings at Bengals. And let me just say one thing: they should have never effing cut him. All right, Jay Browning was a man on a mission this game. He was pretty effective with the ball, threw for over 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, did throw a pick, got sacked 4 times. Early on in the game, the Bengals were down early, 17-3, but started from the fourth quarter. They managed to score 3 touchdowns, scored 21 points in the fourth, leading them to go to overtime, and that's where they ended up winning the game. The Vikings defense did a pretty solid job the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter they let everything go. As for the individual plays for the Bengals, you know, Joe Mixon, he didn't have a great game, but he started turning up towards the end, making some plays here and there. As for the Vikings, Ty Chandler, he started making big plays for the Vikings. He had 132 rushing yards and a touchdown. That's something they did well. Jordan Addison continues to show why he's one of the better rookies in this draft class. Finished the game with 111 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson played it pretty well. 7 catches, 84 yards. Pretty sure he got injured again this game though. And Nick Mullins, pretty solid. Yeah, he was solid. He had 2 turnovers. That was pretty bad. 3 sacks. One of them was pretty interesting. I think he tried to throw the ball away while mid-sack and ended up in the hands of the defensive tackle for the Bengals. That's pretty wild. So, anyways, Bengals. They're now 8-6. They're so far in the wild card picture. Vikings fall to 7-7. Not looking too good for them, especially with the quarterback situation there. As far as the foreseeable future for these 2 teams, the Bengals have a tough schedule to finish the season. They got the Steelers, not so tough. They got the Chiefs on New Year's Eve, and then they got the Browns. So, not an easy, light schedule, but we'll see what happens. They can definitely pull up at least one of those games. They can definitely get a win over the Steelers. As far as the Chiefs, they can maybe sneak one by the Chiefs. They might need to win at least 2 more to make it to the playoff with how the playoffs race is looking up. As far as the Vikings, also a pretty tough finish. They got the Lions twice and the Packers. So, just 3 division games in a row. So we'll see what happens with the Vikings. Not looking good. I mean, they could get a win over the Packers. Packers not looking all that great, but we'll get to there when we get there. All right, moving on to the next Saturday game, we have the Steelers at Colts. Man, what is wrong with the Steelers, man? Like, some of the players are not giving effort out there, and that's normal to see in a team that's been losing. But the Steelers are in a playoff, they're in the playoff race. And the lack of effort, specifically from George Pickens, and not, blocking that one potential touchdown play, it's it just sucks to see if you're a Steelers fan, you know? So, Mitch Trubisky, he was the starter for the Steelers. Kenny Pickett's still not playing yet. It's not a great game, man. It's 169 passing yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Gardner Minshew was pretty effective, but they only got sacked 3 times, threw 3 touchdowns. They were able to average 5 yards per carry on the ground for the Colts, which is pretty good. Good there. The Colts the defense for the Steelers couldn't really stop the Colts. And that's concerning, you know. The Steelers couldn't even put points up on the Colts defense. So yeah, that's just pretty much it. It's just surprising to see the lack of effort coming from the Steelers side, even though they're 7-7. I don't like their chances of making playoffs. I don't personally see them making it, but anything's possible. The Colts, they're 8-6. They're looking in good shape. They're in the wild card picture as of now. They're tied for first, I believe. They're tied for first in their division. Yes, tied with the Jags and the Colts, or not the Colts, the Texans. And they finished the season playing the Falcons, the Raiders, and Texans. They could easily go 3-0. So that'd be interesting to see. The Texans definitely going to be their toughest game. The Falcons, you don't know what kind of Falcons you're going to get there. So, yeah, that's really all I got for the Steelers and Colts. And then moving on to the Saturday night game. We got Broncos at Lions. And the Lions finally woke up. That defense finally stepped up as well. And Jared Goff had one heck of a game. He was managing the heck out of that game, put in terms. Went 24 for 34, 278 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and only got touched twice. As far as Russell, the Broncos offense were struggling. They were shut out in the first half. They were definitely struggling. They only averaged 3 yards a carry. They couldn't get anything going on the ground and in the air. The leading receiver for the Broncos was Jerry Jeudy, 3 catches, 74 yards. But the Lions secondary definitely balled out. The defense definitely stepped up. They're not playing like they used to the last few weeks. Good on them. Jahmyr Gibbs, 9.1 yards per carry, 11 carries for 100 yards. And then a touchdown from him as well. So good game from Gibbs here. Montgomery also, he had the majority of the carries actually. He finished with 85 yards. So the way they're using Gibbs is starting to Gibbs Montgomery. It's a good 1-2 punch there. He's also being used in the passing attack as well, but he was definitely effective on the ground. Explosive player. Good to see him being used effectively now. The Lions are now 10-4, 5-2 at home. And yeah, good stuff from the Lions. Nice to see that they're starting to heat up now. Granted, it was against the Broncos, but to get to the Lions' credit, the Broncos were heating up, so they're looking nice. And now they're sitting at 10-4. They're looking in a good spot. I think they might have clinched their. I think they clinched their division, but if not, it doesn't really matter. They're gonna play the Vikings twice, and then the Cowboys. The Cowboys will be a tough one, but the Vikings, I think they at least win one, so they might finish 1-2, or maybe 2-1, or even 3-0 if they get the Cowboys that play against the Bills. But we'll get to that later, man. That's wild. Okay, so the Lions are back, brand new Lions. Absolutely pummeled the Broncos, 42-17. Bad showing there by the Broncos. All right, moving on to the first Sunday game. We're going to go over, which one should I? All right, so we're going to go Bears and Browns. So, with the Bears and Browns, the Bears played pretty well. They played pretty good. They are actually playing pretty good. The thing here was just the Browns defense is just too good. They just stepped up. Joe Flacco is making plays for the Browns. Granted, he did turn the ball over a few times, got 3 interceptions, and got sacked 4 times. But he was able to sling it for 374 passing yards. On the ground, they couldn't get anything going. So that shows you that the Bears' rushing defense is definitely stepping up. They only allowed 1.6 yards per carry from a strong Browns rushing team, which is pretty impressive. Just some mistakes on the Bears side, dropped passes, and just things of that nature. I think Justin Fields played pretty well, even though he completed only less than half of his passes and threw for 166 passing yards. Only averaged 4.2 yards to carry, but I think that definitely goes to the side where they definitely need another receiver on that team that can definitely help out. But yeah, as far as the Browns receiving, Amari Cooper had a good game, 4 catches, 109 yards. David Njoku showing why he's a great tight end weapon. He had another good game, 10 catches, 104 yards. Joe Flacco loves to give it to his tight ends. So yeah, watch out for this Bears team, man. They're pretty dangerous right now. They've been only heating up ever since Justin Fields came back. So, and they've been playing pretty well. It's just that it's unfortunate they just ran into the Browns defense. So that defense for the Bears is also stepping up. So watch out for that. For the Browns, they're in a good spot for the playoff. They have a 1-game lead over the other wild card teams. Um, so they're the first wild card team. Looking at the rest of their schedule, they finished the season off with the Texans, Jets, and Bengals. Um, not the hardest schedule, but it's pretty. I'll say it's pretty like mid. I think Jets, they're in shambles right now. Who knows if Aaron Rodgers is going to be back? The Texans, we gotta wait and see if C.J. Stroud is back, but DeMarco Ryan's getting these boys to play anyways. And then the Bengals, Jake Browning, next coming of Tom Brady. That's what the rumors having, but we'll see. All right, moving on to our next game, the Bucs at Packers. So for this game, Baker Mayfield had a great game this game. He finished the game with a perfect passing rating. Finished the game with 22 completions out of 28 attempts, 381 passing yards, 13.6 yards per catch, average or completion per completion, and 4 touchdowns. So it's a great game here from Baker Mayfield. I think they're leading the NFC South. Yeah, they might. I think they'll win it. Honestly, they've been playing pretty well. Rashad White, he's been a great weapon for the Bucs there. He finished the game with 89 rushing yards for an average of 4.2 rush yards per attempt. Chris Godwin had a heck of a game. 10 catches, 155 yards, and averaged 15.5 yards per completion. Per catch, I should say. But on the other side, the Packers, Packers are such a weird team. They're a team that so on and off. There's some days they can turn it up and beat a team like the Chiefs, and then some days they just crap the bed, man. They lose to bad teams. But Jordan Love, he was decent, nothing too crazy. He made some plays here and there, try to keep the game going, try to keep it close. And then Aaron Jones, first game back. The one thing that's surprising about the Bucs, they only allowed 60 rushing yards. So the rushing defense definitely played well, even without, I think, Devin White he didn't play this game. He was an inactive, healthy scratch. For the receivers here, Wicks had a good game. Reed had a good game. Kraft is stepping up. So they're without Christian Watson and Musgrave, but they got the other guys stepping up. But I don't know. Do they need? They probably need better receivers. I think that might be an issue there in Green Bay. As far as defense, the secondary can definitely need some help. Maybe the safety positions. But yeah, the Packers are not looking good for the playoff. They sit at 6-8 now. The Bucs are 7-7, leading the NFC South. So, and they might be honestly the favorite to win out the rest of the season. So, there you go. They got the Bucs. Hopefully they can keep it up. Moving on, we got Texans at Titans. And the Texans were without C.J. Stroud. They had Case Keenum. He was in this game. And let me just say, DeMarco Ryan's got these boys to play, especially the defense. Specifically the defense. They limited the Titans to only 2.2 yards per carry. Derrick Henry had 16 carries and only had 9 rushing yards. Jeez. And then the defensive line for the Texans stepped up big time. They owned the Titans' offensive line. Will Levis got sacked 7 times. Like I said, they only got 66 rushing yards on 30 attempts. Bad showing from the Titans, man. This offensive line is a mess. They can't protect Will Levis. They can't get any run game going. That's the problem here with the Titans. They sit at 4-3 at home. It's kind of amazing they were able to beat the Dolphins last week. That just shows how bad they just choked it at the end. As far as receivers, Traylon Burke had a solid game. Noah Brown had a big game. 8 catches, 82 yards. He was the primary receiver there. And he got a touchdown. Then Singletary got involved a lot in the passing game, and he had 121 rushing yards. So Devin Singletary had a great game by him. Texans sit at 8-6, and they're tied. They're just sitting right outside the wild card right now. They're tied with a bunch of teams at 8-6. So we'll see how they finish the season. Hopefully C.J. Stroud comes back. They'll definitely need him to come back. That'll definitely help their playoff chances. So Yeah, good win by the Texans. DeMarco Ryan is showing why he's a Coach of the Year candidate. Moving on, we got the Jets at Dolphins, and Jets, man. The biggest problem this game with the Jets was that offensive line. They definitely tried to get things going with the play action, but they couldn't. Every time they faked the handoff, there was a Dolphins right in front of Zach Wilson's face. Um, yeah, the offensive line is a mess. The defensive line for the Dolphins was getting all over Zach Wilson. Christian Wilkins even got a sack and forced a fumble, and they even realized it. Recovered by, I believe, was the other defensive tackle, Seltzer, or was it Van Ginkel? I don't even remember who it was. But how many times did Zach Wilson get sacked? The Dolphins' defensive line brought a ton of pressure. The defense played amazingly for the Dolphins. They shut out the Jets. Jets finally eliminated from the playoff contention. So we'll see. That'll definitely have an impact whether Aaron Rodgers comes back or not. I don't think there's no point in him coming back. Tua had almost a perfect game if you talk about the other side of the ball. Went 21 for 24, 224 passing yards, and then had a touchdown. Only got sacked 3 times. Raheem Mostert, 2 more touchdowns. He's sitting the season with 18 total rushing touchdowns, and I think 20 total touchdowns. So the defensive line for the Jets did a good job limiting the running game, but they couldn't stop the passing game. Jalen Waddle had an amazing game. Tyreek Hill sat out this game, unfortunately, but Jalen Waddle stepped up, and as long as they have either Waddle or Hill, this offense, it's going to be explosive. Waddle for this game with 8 catches, 142 yards, receiving a touchdown. Oh, yeah, and then the Dolphins got a total of 6 sacks. Great game from the defense there. Only had 23 rushing yards from the Jets, but they went down early anyway, so limited Garrett Wilson to 3 catches and 29 receiving yards. Got to feel for Garrett Wilson, man. It's a tough season there to be a Jets fan, or to be a Jets in general. The Dolphins sit at 10-4, tied for first place in the conference. All right. With all that said, we're gonna move on to the next one. Next one we have the Chiefs at Patriots. And when will they stop playing Kadarius Toney, man? The Chiefs, it's an interesting situation. They keep playing Kadarius Toney, and he had a bad drop that led to a interception, and that you could just see that Patrick Mahomes was pissed off in the sidelines. Rashid Rice stepped up big time. He's been the only pretty much consistent receiver here for the Chiefs. 9 catches, 91 yards, a touchdown. Travis Kelce, he hasn't been playing like himself the last few games. So I wonder what's going on there. Let's see who else. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had more receiving yards than rushing yards. So that was interesting. They didn't really need him anyways. The Chiefs ended up winning by 10. Patrick Mahomes, good showing, 2 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, but one of them, I'm going to say Kadarius Toney had a pick. How about that? Patrick Mahomes had a pick and Kadarius Toney had a pick. So, and it's the Patriots. They're going to struggle. They're 3-11 right now, 1-7 at home. It's crazy right now, crazy season. They didn't play all that bad offensively. They kind of did. They did. Never mind. I take that back. But, the Patriots are the Patriots, man. They might just be tanking. They're getting ready to move on from Bill Belichick. Whereas the Chiefs, they now have a 2-game lead over the Broncos in their division. So that sets them up nicely for the Chiefs. They don't have to worry too much about the Broncos now. And they're sitting at in the 3rd seed right now for the AFC playoffs.
I didn't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. And I didn't want to see anybody else either. I hope I never see any jerks again.
Moving on. Got the Giants. Tommy Cutlets. Tommy Cutlets wasn't cooking this game. The Giants, though, or not the Giants, the Saints were cooking, though. Derek Carr had a pretty good game. The Giants struggled to stop the Saints' offense, man. They just kept getting things going. Derek Carr, I believe he threw for 3 touchdowns, right? Yeah, 3 touchdowns, only got sacked once. Tommy DeVito got sacked 7 times. So that definitely shows that there was an issue with the offensive line. He also led the team in rushing with 36. Not the greatest performance here for the Giants. They only averaged 3.8 rushing yards per attempt. 1.6 coming from Saquon, and 60 rushing yards total. Not ideal if you're a Giants fan. The Saints defense is pretty solid. They were able to shut down this Giants offense. And yeah, just the Saints offense finally got things going. It seems like they get things going against bad teams, but struggle against good teams. I'll probably say that much. And they're tied for first in their division as well, with the Bucks sitting at 7-7. So honestly, the Bucks and the Saints could both definitely get in playoffs. One as a wild card. So I honestly think the Bucks might win that division, and the Saints might be just competing for a wild card spot. But it'll be interesting to see how the Saints finish. They're such an inconsistent team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side, they only held the Giants to 6 points, so it's a pretty good showing there. Moving on, we got the Falcons at Panthers. Panthers got another win. It was just a bad game overall. Bryce Young didn't play all that great. Hubbard is only pretty much consistent piece on that offense, as well as Thielen. And for the Falcons, Desmond Ritter, he just makes bad decisions. Yeah, even in a game with 2 turnovers, and then the Panthers just won it with field goals, man. I'm surprised no one wanted to go to this game, even though the take for like 45 cents a pop. Like, I don't think I would even want to go to that game either. So, yeah, good win for the Panthers here. Not really going to change much. They're still the worst team in the league right now, record-wise and just everything-wise. So, yeah, Falcons, bad loss. You got knocked out of the first place in your division. You're 6-8. You're trying to fight back to get in there, or even a wild card spot. I don't know. You have 8 losses. It's not. The Falcons team is also inconsistent, but yeah, not a good showing. Let me look at box stats here real quick. I know Bryce Young and Desmond Ritter both sucked today. Panthers rushing defense limited the Falcons to 1.7 rush yards per attempt. Bijan Robinson only averaged 1.6. Tyler Algier is the one leading the team in rushing yards today. Interesting. I also feel like they haven't been using Bijan Robinson all that much. I wonder why. So,
what the fuck is this piece of shit?
we got the Commanders at Rams. And this game, this is pretty impressive, man. If you think about it, how the Rams were able to get a hit on Kyren Williams and Puka Nacua. It's insane. 2 big playmakers. Kyren Williams is actually having a crazy season right now. 27 carries, 152 rushing yards, and a touchdown. Good on him. Average 5.6 yards per carry. That's awesome. Matt Stafford finished the game with 2 touchdowns, 258 passing yards. Commanders, they're the Commanders, man. They're just struggling. Sam Howell had a tough game. And they looked to Jacoby Brissett for the rest of the game. Almost had like a late game comeback, but couldn't get it done. So, good win here by the Rams. They're a dangerous team in the NFC side in terms of the wild cards. They're probably the most dangerous. Well, I can't say that because either the Cowboys or Eagles are going to be a wild card team. So, probably the second most dangerous wild card team. How about that? And then just to have a look in the Rams' rest of the season here. Who do they play the rest of the season? 3 games left. They'll play Saints, Giants, and Niners. I think they can win 2 of the 3. 49ers going to depend if the Niners rest their players. So maybe they win the last 3, go 10-7. That'd be pretty cool. But they'll definitely be competing with the Seahawks, who are currently 6-7 and play tonight against the Eagles. And that's why I'm not going to cover that game today because they haven't played yet. So, good win by the Rams. 49ers and Cardinals, everyone expected 49ers to win this. And whoever had Christian McCaffrey, congratulations on your win in the fantasy football playoffs. He got you guys 40 points or something? Yeah, 3 combined touchdowns. He had 3 combined touchdowns. Brock Purdy, clean game, 242 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Clean game by him. And Brock Purdy now is the favorite. He doesn't lead anything. He's the favorite right now to win MVP. I think it's minus 150 in the Vegas odds, which is kind of crazy because if anyone on that team deserves to win MVP, it's probably Christian McCaffrey. Even Brock Purdy said so. So I think McCaffrey should be up there for the MVP race. Come on now. So good win for 49ers. They're 11-3 now, and I believe they are. Yeah, they're still 1 game in front of. They're 1 game now in front of the Cowboys. So good win, necessary win. Not much for the Cardinals side. You were able to put 29 points on that 49ers defense, so that's pretty nice. So, moving on, we got the Cowboys at Bills. Cowboys absolutely got railed at Buffalo. Only put up 10 points. Bills put 31 points with Josh Allen throwing only, like 100 passing yards, something like that. They didn't throw all that much. I know the conditions were all that great, but still. He threw less than 100 passing yards, had 94 passing yards, and put up 31 points. That's ridiculous. Dak Prescott only had 134. The Bills' defense stepped up big time. They are now 8-6, 6-2 at home. But the Cowboys killer here was James Cook. He had himself a hell of a game. 179 rushing yards, a touchdown on the ground, 2 catches, 42 yards. And honestly, he could have had another touchdown, but he dropped it. So that's insanity. The Cowboys could not stop James Cook at all. He averaged 7.2 yards a carry on 25 carries. You can't let that happen. I don't know what's up with the Cowboys, which is like their defense is awesome. They have a great rushing defense. Just couldn't stop him today. So the Cowboys are kind of like weird. They have like streaks where they're good, and then they have that one crazy road game where they like can't get anything going, which is it's weird. It's a weird thing with the Cowboys. So it might be concerning for them when it comes playoff time. So they'll definitely have to win that division to be playing at home for like either like the first 2 games or something like that. They definitely want to be playing at home once they make it to the playoffs. So they definitely need the Eagles to lose. I guess the Seahawks. I don't know if it will happen, but we'll see. But wow, good win for the Buffalo. Keeps the playoff hopes alive. Their backs were against the ropes, the backs against the wall before this game, but now they're bringing themselves a strong wild card team here, a dangerous one too, especially if they play at home. So.
Allergic to scams. Seriously, this is not new. It's been disproven. It's a joke. It's a scam. It's not real. I'm out.
All right, moving on. We got the Sunday night game. We got the Ravens and Jags. And this one can basically be summed up with the Jags making a ton of mistakes. They missed 2 field goals, which left 6 points on the board. They only finished the game with 7 points. They definitely played better than what the score indicates, but Trevor Lawrence also had a weird fumble. He was mid-run and he just dropped the ball. It might have been raining. Yeah, I think it was raining, but still, you can't be dropping the ball like that. Ravens defense, though, did step up. Only allowed 6.1 yards per completion on the defensive side. So, they definitely did, like, this game should have been a lot closer than it was. I think the Jags missed out on, like, at least 9 points here by missing the 2 field goals and the fumble in the other team's territory. Trevor Lawrence actually had 2 fumbles, and he lost both of those. Not a good look. Yeah, not something you want to see here if you're the Jags. They definitely got to clean up the turnovers, the fumbling. I think Trevor Lawrence lead the league in fumbling or something like that. As far as the Ravens, the defense played pretty good. They're a dangerous team, of course. Lamar Jackson does a great job of escaping pressure, getting out of the pocket and making it plays, going to the outside and just getting into that wide open guy. Lamar Jackson had 97 rushing yards. Good game from him. Isaiah Likely, he's a very good tight end. So it's nice to see him getting his recognition. And they're still the number 1 team in the AFC side now. So I think they have a 2-game lead. So good on them. How did they finish the regular season? Let's see here. Do the Dolphins have a chance? I don't know, because next week we got the Cowboys, so that'll be a tough game. But thankfully, it'll be in Miami. So maybe they have another stinker. So we'll see. They finish the season with the 49ers next week. Oof. Oh yeah, and then Keith Mitchell, he's likely out for season. Wow. Another running back down for the Ravens. Very unfortunate. Ravens are cursed with the running backs, I swear. So they got the 49ers, and then they got the Dolphins. That'll be a big game. That'll definitely be a huge game in deciding who's number 1 in the AFC. And then they finish the season with the Steelers. No biggie there. So, yep, that concludes the recap for Week 15. Stay tuned for the Week 16 prediction video and some more college bowl game stuff. And I might post some more videos here and there talking about the playoff race and likely situations and stuff like that. So stay tuned. A lot of content coming. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content, and comment down below what you thought of this week's slate of games. What are some things you got out of the games, and how does it look like for the playoff for you guys? How do you see it? So thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.